Hey gorgeous people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. This week we're talking all about progress, how to track progress, how you shouldn't track progress, why you should track progress, why progress makes you feel good, why progress makes you feel bad, and all of that amazing stuff to do with progress. Now the reason that I wanted to do this video is that I think sometimes tracking progress is the reason that you are not reaching your goals, and sometimes almost not tracking your progress and just having a goal in the back of your mind is the best way to reach something. I made myself a cup of tea and then decided that I wanted a protein banana and peanut butter chocolate shake because I was a little bit hungry. So yeah, I'm just gonna be sipping on my multiple beverages. Okay, it took me too long to get ready for this video. That tea is cold. That's why I made two beverages. Now one of the great things about this video and why I think this video is going to be better than other progress videos that you're going to find out there is because the take that I'm going to take, that doesn't make a lot of sense, the approach that I'm going to take talking about documenting success, measuring success, is that you're going to be able to extrapolate it, word of the day, and apply it to whatever it is that's important to you. Now that could be fat loss, muscle growth, writing a book, saving towards a dream amount of money. By the end of this video, you should be able to extrapolate all of the things that I'm saying, all of the science-backed research, because let's be honest, this wouldn't be an Alicia Dion video if it didn't have some sort of science-based research behind it, you know? So that's what we're gonna do. Let's jump into this video. I feel like I've been talking forever. So first off, let's talk about the different ways that you can measure success. Let's
talk about the ways you can measure success. The first way is...
There we go. Let's talk about the ways you can measure success. The first way is documenting your goals. Now it's important when you're documenting your goals that you do it in something that's relevant to you. So as you guys know, I am a massive pen and paper kind of gal. But if sometimes I don't write something down with a pen and paper, it's either not gonna happen or I'm gonna forget it, or like studying. I couldn't study typing my notes. Do it in a relevant way. Is there an app you love to use? Do you like checklists? Do you like having a piece of paper with your goal on it that's in the kitchen or in your office? The second thing is mini goals, and I honestly think these are so freaking important because if it weren't for mini goals, I would be in a bottomless pit of doom and depression because they give me that little extra boost, that little pat on the back, that little push up the hill in order to get to the top. For example, I had a goal to get 100 YouTube videos out on my channel. If I set that goal and just let it sit there, I will go mentally insane.
Welcome to Pillow World, Bri.
Because I will just feel like I'm getting nowhere. If I set that goal and just let it sit there, I will just feel like I'm getting nowhere. And each one takes a week and 100 million hours of editing, filming, and planning. So instead, I have a tick box for every video, and the word 100 is not written anywhere apart from on a random spreadsheet buried deep, because until I get closer to that deadline, I don't need to touch it because I just think that will do bad things for my mental well-being. Short-term progression is a really important thing in order to keep yourself motivated towards your main goals. The next one we're going to talk about is setting self-deadlines. Now, I'm going to be real about self-deadlines. They can be a really tricky thing to get right, and they can be a very hard thing to hold yourself accountable for. If we were all good at self-set deadlines, there would be no reason for me to make this video in the first place. Self-set deadlines.
You know what it means to clap back, Raymond? Because I do.
Self-set deadlines are so hard, I think, because a lot of the time we use our end goal and deadline that. And I think sometimes we have very little control over big deadline reachings. That's not correct English, but we're gonna go with it. I know that I can get this video out on time, but I don't know that for the next 70 weeks of my life, I'm not gonna come up against any problems in terms of filming and editing and getting my videos up. So in order for me to sit here and be like, I'm 100% gonna reach this goal in 77 weeks, anything could happen in your life that's gonna put a wrench in that works. So using mini goals and micro deadlines, I think is a really good way to measure success and keep yourself feeling good about yourself and all the amazing hard work that you guys are putting in. The next way is something I actually heard about only a few weeks ago, and I loved the idea of it. This is progress reports. So a progress report is basically where at the end of the day, instead of getting your checkbox out and seeing what tasks did I get done, you get a pen and paper and you write a list of all the things you accomplished. And that list will be longer than your tick boxes. So on your progress report, you get to write, did all of my research, wrote 2,000 of my 3,000 words for this essay, went to the gym. Like maybe going to the gym wasn't on your to-do list, but it's a progress report. It's a good thing that you did and you deserve credit for it. Finally, we have used quantitative data. A quantitative data is basically numerical data. So if you want to get faster at your run, time all of your runs. Now, to go into the second part of this video, we're going to use an example of fat loss. And I want to use fat loss as an example because I think it applies to a lot of people. I think it's a really hard thing to measure. I think it's something people lose gusto for. Gusto? We're going to use gusto. Maybe that should be the word of the day. They lose patience with it because it's such a slow process. There are other ways to measure progress that will help you and stop you from quitting because you might be measuring your success wrong. We need to do the science. I can't believe my memory went on the science. When we're looking at weight loss, a systematic review of literature, when we're looking at things like whether people have more progress if they were weighing themselves, they did find that there was a significant association between self-monitoring and weight loss, but they found the evidence was weak because of methodological limitations. The methodological limitations they're discussing, I agree. Second, if we're looking at determinations of weight loss maintenance, a systematic review, once again they're saying here more research regarding cognitive and environmental determinations of weight loss maintenance is needed to advance our knowledge and determinations of weight loss maintenance. So that's another one saying we need more research. Let's go to our third one. Is regular exercise an effective strategy for weight loss maintenance? The reason I looked at this one is because I was wondering if ticking off your workouts was a better way of measuring your progress than weighing yourself, measuring yourself, etc. And once again, at the end of their research, they highlight future research should focus on the critical question to provide more complete understanding of the potential benefit of exercise on weight loss maintenance. Next, yes, I had a look at the heart attack and stroke symptom association. And here they looked at the regularity of how much people were weighing themselves. So again, you can apply this to other things. How often are you doing progress reports? How often are you writing down mini deadlines and mini goals? And what they did is researchers tracked 1,042 adults over a year and found that people who weighed themselves once a week or less did not lose weight. However, they did find that people who weighed themselves 6 or 7 times a week averaged a 1.7% weight loss. I do just want to jump in here and say something quickly. If getting on the scales gives you anxiety, don't get on the scales, okay? There are so many fluctuations with our bodies, and I know that a large portion of my audience is female, so I'm going to address the menstrual cycle. If you're looking at weight fluctuations, whilst men might be able to compare their weights from week to week, women shouldn't really be comparing their weights anything less than the length of their cycle. For example, if your period finished 2 weeks ago and you weigh yourself that day, I wouldn't compare that weight to any other data until you're 2 weeks after your next period, and then you can compare those bits of data at the same points in your cycle. And the reason I say this is because you can gain something ridiculous. I think it's like 2 to 3.5 kilos in the 6 days running up to your period. We need to be thinking about women-centered healthcare in women. We cannot be applying male science to women's bodies. And then also, just because of the example that I know I was going to be using today with you guys here being fat loss, I did have a little look of reasons of why you gain weight when you first trying to lose weight. So when you start exercising, you're more likely to have inflammation and put stress on those muscles in a way that they're not used to. So in terms of their recovery, they're going to hold on to more nutrients and more glycogen, especially towards the beginning of your weight loss journey, just so they're ready for that next workout, you know? Because you just walked into the gym and was like, hey, we're going to lift weights for the first time in 2 years. And it's like, what? I was not ready for this. I was not prepared. You did not send me a memo. So it's just making sure that it's vamped and ready to go. After a couple of weeks, maybe a month, your body will start to let go of that panic response because it will know that you're lifting regularly. It knows what it needs to be holding on to, and therefore you won't have as much inflammation and, excess nutrition stored for the just in case. So let's talk about the big no-no when it comes to fat loss. When you're measuring progress for fat loss, the majority of people use their scales. This is a no-no for so many freaking reasons. I hear you say, Alicia, you've talked so much about all of the crap things that we shouldn't be doing. What are we supposed to be doing? How are we supposed to do it? I got you. Right. First thing I'm going to say, get a tape measure. Get a bendy tape measure, not like don't wrap a freaking big tape measure around, you know what I mean? The ones you use to like measure walls and desks. Don't try and wrap that around your body. Go get a material tape measure. That is a good way to track
Jesus.
to track progress. Now, we just talked about inflammation that can go on the up when you first start exercising. That is not fat. That is your muscle swelling up a little bit because it's injured in a good way, because it's going to grow and increase your metabolism and make you feel amazing, but it is going to get slightly bigger, and that normally goes down after about 48 hours after that exercise. But let's say you're exercising 4 times a week, you're going to have inflammation. And again, with body measurements, I would say that you can probably compare every 2 weeks, and if you want to be safe, then sorry, go for a month apart or the same day on your cycle. That's a really good way, I think, to track progress in women. But unfortunately, women's health is hugely underfunded, and we don't have any funding coming towards us right now to fix so many of the problems that there are with women's health, because sexism is deeply rooted in the society and in capitalism and in pink tax and so many issues with the world, and it makes me angry and upset. But we're gonna blaze straight past that. So just make sure that you are measuring the same way. So when it comes to measuring where you want to measure in your body, you want a bust, an underbust, a waist, hips, bum, and then you also have thigh, calf, arms. That's all I can think of. You could do your head if you wanted, but I don't think your head's gonna change size.
Hello.
And we're looking for very, very small changes here. I'm talking half a centimetre. That is incredible. Back in England, I created an entire way to measure from cycle to cycle, and then I had weights on a scale and measurements with a tape measure. And some weeks, I'm not kidding you, I was a kilo heavier, but I'd gone down a centimetre or half a centimetre in loads of different places on my body. And muscle weighs more than fat. And if you have water retention, that's going to weigh more, but it might not show. Next up, I would say progress photos. I've never been a big one for progress photos, and I think that's because I don't really like taking the photos to start with. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take some before photos. I don't know what they're for before, but they're before for something. We'll figure it out. It will take at least 2 to 4 weeks to see any sort of fat loss, but you might be able to see the toning of your body from as early as week 1, because you're gonna get inflamed muscle and possibly more definition. So it's a really exciting way to just compare, keep yourself motivated, have a look at how far you've come. And finally, my last example for fat loss is how your clothes fit. You know how comfortable your clothes are, and you could even do like a little before video as opposed to a before photo of just you in your favorite pair of jeans or your favorite skirt. This is how many fingers I can fit between me and this skirt. And if you see no difference in your before and after photos, because sometimes I think we can become quite disillusioned with how we actually look and the body that's looking back at us in the mirror. So sometimes these little recordings can help you see how far you've come. So just see how many fingers you can fit between you and your waistband, and then you can compare that. That's my progress video for this week. And they are different ways that you can measure progress, and also it highlights ways that measuring progress can hold you back. Measuring progress is amazing, but it's specific to each person. That's what I think I'm going to conclude this video on. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this week. It has been a pleasure, as always. If you have any video ideas or any science-based videos or any travel vlogs that you want to see coming your way, drop it in the comment section below and I will see what I can do for you. Make sure to drop this video a big like. Make sure that you have hit that subscribe button. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye!